Welcome to TradeTheMBA.com. This is John. This report is for the 10th of October. And I kind of shrunk the daily chart here to kind of give you an idea that despite the moves that we're seeing, this has been still a straight up trajectory. No question about it. Fine, we're the huge negative shakeout. It's getting close to the negative 20 for the green at least. Not even close to an oversold situation or a distribution phase here. What we're seeing is just an accumulation within the dip here to the 50%. And every time we get to it, they're buying it up. So it's a clear indication. Now, NASDAQ, a lot weaker, well below the 50%, but the same situation happening. You can see the short-term buyers are sucking up supply in this, which is keeping things elevated. Now, as soon as that turns around, obviously you'll get a little bit more selling. What you would expect to see is a turnaround in midterm buyers in that. Kind of should have happened already. You know, the 5th is new money coming in. We're 5 days through that. Is all they've been able to do is just kind of hold price from collapsing, so to speak. And again, euro reflecting the exact consolidation. There's really growing concern in the EU about the stability of banking in that when it comes to some of the PIGs. This is starting to grow, and that alarm could trigger some significant volatility changes. So I would keep that one in the back of your mind. I haven't really talked about Eurozone contagion risk and that, but it certainly seems to be coming to the forefront with these budgetary battles. Greece is threatening seek reparations, the Italians with their budget situation. All that's starting to build could create some issues that will certainly transcend the ocean. A little bit of flight back into treasuries is kind of just because of the hyper oversold, but still it's right down at the range that we expect it to be. And oil, even despite the pledges for others to increase production in that, again, this is about growing economy and the bottlenecks. And we'll see if that starts to translate into wages next. Gold holding right at its base bottom point right here. Nothing too exciting about that from a buy standpoint. I know some people are starting to get excited about the gold now and that, but not according to what we're seeing from the algorithms, at least at this particular point. That oil trade has still been the substitute for it. So I had to shrink the 5K quite a bit because a lot of action, a lot of good volatility. Not much movement from an end price point, but great ranges intraday. I mean, we started off with the clean sell, and I described this one in the sketch chat in detail about the difference between these two. With the version of below zero with the cyan versus above, versus having had the cross with the steel above and then back below. Those crossing points create significant power, and you want to respect it. And then we came down to the bottom, and again we talked also about red DOC above that 7 level. Really tends to be where your trend runs sustain themselves. And you can see here where we got above that, and boom. Now, doesn't change the fact that we had positive extreme. We expected a dip to come back to it. That was down at the 2883, and that we moved all the way to the 29, which was the other resistance point of the last algo. So, from one to the other, and then back down to it. In this particular case, they made an interesting run where you came down, developed a bit of a buy signal here, and once that one created its sell, got a little positive right there, and then you ended up right here with your beautiful snake short, and that one went all the way to the bottom. Then we sort of just traded sideways for quite a bit on rising DOC. Right, and it gave enough to sustain it, so it was a little bit back and forth there going to the end, and so we've been kind of in this middle consolidation, easy way to describe it. And we'll just expand our chart here as we get to what we're looking at, which is a lot of gold that's jumping and then collapse. and this is a lot of pre-market, there's a lot of European action, Asian contagion as far as the Europe model goes. Geopolitically, there's not too much happening other than the election situation, which that continual flux and back and forth after the Kavanaugh thing has left a lot of things a little bit more murky, making it harder for some people to position without clarity. And that was the beauty that we were looking for October. So, all in all, good stuff. Keep playing what we got and enjoy. As always, though, if there's neat situations, then I will put them on the Skype chat. As always, though, trade well.